I don't care how hard you work in the gym or what you eat. If you skip sleep, you will lose muscle. That's exactly what I want to talk about in this video. So let's get started with point no. 1. Muscle growth happens during sleep. Let me explain. When you reach deep sleep stages, especially the third stage called slow wave sleep, that's when your body releases a hormone called growth hormone. And guess what? Growth hormone helps repair and rebuild muscle tissue. It also plays a huge role in getting rid of body fat while you're sleeping. Your body uses growth hormone to restore and rejuvenate muscle tissue after a workout. Without enough growth hormone, muscle growth slows down and body fat starts to accumulate around your midsection. Now here's what's interesting. Just one night of total sleep deprivation can slash growth hormone levels by 30%. And if you have chronic sleep deprivation, your growth hormone levels can plummet by as much as 60%. What does this mean for you? Well, basically it means that if you skip sleep, your body won't be able to repair and rebuild muscle tissue as effectively. The result is that you'll experience less muscle growth. Plain and simple. Let me put it this way. If sleep is optional, then growth hormone is optional. And if you think that growth hormone isn't important, just look at the name again. Growth hormone. Or you could check out some research on growth hormone deficiencies in humans. There are many people who have little or no growth hormone and their lives are pretty miserable. They have tons of health issues, low energy, low libido, brain fog, depression, high blood pressure, and they tend to die earlier than the average person. Point is, you need growth hormone. So if you want to boost muscle growth, get your sleep. Now moving on to point number 2. Sleep loss raises cortisol. Cortisol is often referred to as the stress hormone, but it actually does a lot more than that. However, in today's video, I want to focus on one particular function of cortisol, which is its ability to break down muscle. When you don't get enough sleep, your body perceives this as a threat, triggering a stress response and raising cortisol levels. Now, high cortisol can be helpful in short bursts because it can boost energy and focus. But if cortisol is chronically elevated, it becomes catabolic for muscle, meaning that it causes muscle breakdown. Research shows that even small sleep deficits like only 1 hour can significantly elevate cortisol. For example, studies show that cortisol levels are higher in shift workers who consistently get poor sleep. Even worse, having frequent bouts of insomnia can raise cortisol levels by as much as 300%. And that's why insomnia is linked to serious health risks like heart disease, diabetes, and high blood pressure. The bottom line is that if you don't get enough sleep, your body will release more cortisol, which will break down muscle tissue and lead to a loss of lean mass even if you're redoing everything else right. Point 3. Low sleep means low testosterone. A study published in the journal JAMA Internal Medicine found that just 1 week of sleeping under 5 hours each night can drop testosterone levels by 10 to 15%. The same thing happens to women, but the amounts are smaller. Researchers believe that this happens because sleep deprivation affects the delicate balance of hormones and chemicals in your brain that control the release of testosterone. It's also possible that sleep loss simply puts extra strain on the testicles, making them less efficient at producing testosterone. Regardless of the exact mechanism, the results are clear. Sleep loss leads to lower testosterone, which negatively affects muscle growth and recovery. To prevent this, try to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. Also, even if you get enough sleep overall, it doesn't matter if you're going through periods of time where you're not sleeping that much. So for example, if you sleep 10 hours on Saturday night, but you're only getting 4 hours of sleep Monday through Friday, that's still considered chronic sleep deprivation. It's better to aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night, instead of trying to catch up on the weekends. Moving on to point number 4. No sleep equals poor recovery. Your muscles don't recover fully if you don't get enough sleep. This is another situation where the results speak for themselves. If you don't get enough sleep, you're more likely to feel sore for days on end after your workouts. On top of that, you're also more likely to get injured. And once you get injured, it becomes harder to get quality sleep due to pain. Now the crazy thing is that losing sleep from being sore can make you even more sore. So you start to feel like you're stuck in a vicious cycle of sleeplessness and soreness. Not only that, but when you don't get enough sleep, your future workouts will become less effective. We have studies showing that lack of sleep negatively impacts power output, endurance, reaction time, alertness, and accuracy. For example, in one study, researchers had male athletes complete a battery of fitness tests after only 4 hours of sleep. They found that sprint performance declined by as much as 17%, while accuracy went down by 30%. Moving on to the 5th and final point, which is that sleep controls hunger. One of the ways that sleep deprivation wreaks havoc on your body is by messing up your hunger hormones. Ghrelin, which stimulates appetite, goes up, while leptin, which reduces appetite, goes down. This imbalance can lead to an increased desire for high-calorie, sugary, and fatty foods, also known as junk food. This craving can be so strong that some people resort to eating whatever they can get their hands on just to satisfy their hunger. As a result, these individuals often consume more calories than necessary, leading to excess fat gain rather than muscle growth. The good news is that simply getting enough sleep can help you avoid this fate. Several studies have shown that people who get more sleep are less likely to overeat and more likely to stick to their diets. In fact, Research suggests that getting adequate sleep can reduce calorie intake by up to 300 calories per day, and that's significant because a calorie deficit is essential for burning fat and building muscle. In short, if you don't sleep, you don't recover. No sleep, no hormones, no sleep, no muscle. I know there are times in life where you just don't feel like sleeping, but consider this. Would you skip an entire workout? That's exactly what you're doing to your muscles if you're not sleeping. Sleep is just another training variable that you have to dial in. If you want to get results, treat it like any other aspect of training. Be consistent and disciplined with it. Start by aiming for 7 to 9 hours of quality rest each night. It's free and it works. Now that you understand how important sleep is for your physique and overall health, you're probably wondering how you can actually improve it. To find out the best scientifically proven methods to hack your sleep, stay tuned for the next video.